Hello everyone and welcome to QualityOldGames. Today we are having part 8 of our Spanish extreme difficulty campaign in original Rome TotalWar. And I think we can have a turn straight away. So the extreme difficulty means that we can train units only in tier 3 settlements. We cannot train any temple units. Furthermore, we cannot build any ships even though we can have ports. We have Numidian overlords, meaning we cannot attack them, but we can defend if they choose to attack. And in the last episode we were quite lucky to take Rome, to be honest, and in this episode our target is to take the rest of southern Italy, or at least advance as much as possible there, and at the same time take the northern France over there. Perhaps push a bit into the Germanian area as well, but at least wipe the Gauls and Britons out from northern France. And in order to push forwards in southern Italy, we need to beat these two armies. And that actually might be easier said than done. Let's hope we have high ground advantage over here. With that, I think we should be able to manage this battle. If we don't have or cannot attain high ground, things will be a bit more difficult for us. There is slight elevation, but I think we will just pull back from this one and fight another day. Of course, we could try to use cavalry to do some flanking maneuvers, but otherwise I think we will pull back, and I most certainly don't want to lose this general. But let's see, if our cavalry could achieve something, they should be relatively easy to replenish as well. So they are sending their cavalry out. Equites, Equites, Equites. Let's make sure there are some fewer Equites rather soon. Okay, so the battle is joined. They are breaking good, so at least something was managed here. And I think these Equites should break rather soon as well. Good. And let's see if we could break that fourth one still, while the majority of the cavalry will move to the other side, but perhaps these guys will be able to take care of these ones. And any remaining stragglers that manage to rally. They're actually sending bodyguard here. Equites, bodyguard. Quite eager Hastatis, to be honest. Oh. This is a bit of a problem with fighting on two fronts. Okay, so if we could take down the general here, that would be just awesome. It would make things quite a bit easier in the next battle. Good. He's routing, and he did not get away. Now the question is, could we actually punch through the Hastati over there? Let's give it a try. Yeah, they're breaking. Good. So basically, this could mean that we could actually do really, really well with cavalry units only. Huh. Perhaps I pulled back the main army a bit too early. Then again, these guys are becoming tired. Okay, and of course there are those reinforcements. Yeah, I think our time is up rather soon. So let's see if we could inflict some more damage while we are going out from here. So that lonely hostage over there looks like an excellent target. Let's try to hit that one as well. Okay, they're breaking, good. Steady, shaken, wavering, and breaking. Excellent. And there are some rather lonely hostages moving here as well, so let's break them. So much for us going out cleanly and quietly. Okay. And for the next attack, let's gather the whole cavalry. I think we are going to need it. Steady, okay, this attack wasn't quite as good. Fortunately, they are still reloading. So basically it means that, well, it's bad news for them. Because, well, that reload animation there is bugged, and it means they are fighting without practically achieving anything. Okay, the war dogs are routing, so they shouldn't be an issue to us anymore. And the rest of the units over here are routing as well. Of course, catching those war dogs will be rather nice. We are very tired already. So once again, I'm at least going to talk that we need to get out of the battle rather soon. But let's see. So we have killed almost 1/3 of their strength, which is always really nice, but yeah, I think it's time to just pull back. Collect our wins and go. Because we have taken some casualties and, well, actually, this looks too tempting. All too tempting. So, let's go one more time. And most likely outcome is that I'm going to lose all of my cavalry in this charge. Well, such is life. And we have this lone unit coming that way. Well, the good news is that they are rather exhausted as well. Okay, so our first cavalry unit is routing. Yeah, it looks like I should have quit after the last attack. Yeah, time to pull back. And yeah, I think there is a lesson learned. At least I should learn a lesson from this one. So I think we suffered most of our casualties from that attack. But with 500 men we managed to take down 1200. So yeah, I mean, it could be worse. And of course we should have some reinforcements nearby. Okay, and I just hope that we are not going to regret losing some of that cavalry in this battle. So, for this army the next stop is going to be Rome, and we need to fully replenish it. And let's utilize the woods here. I think we will use these guys as a reserve force against enemy cavalry or general. And now the question is what we can manage with that cavalry. Perhaps... yeah, let's move the front a bit over here. And to be honest, I'm a bit worried about this right flank, because those mercenaries just are not that good. Okay, then we have the cavalry. And I think we will begin by softening this flank of the enemy. And of course, if we could rout some of the war dogs, that would be just great. But let's see. First target are going to be those equites. Oh, they have principes as well. That's some bad news for us. Mostly because of the better morale, so we cannot chain route them as quickly as we could do with Hastati. Okay, so the first skirmish goes to us, and I think the ratio is rather clean. So I think the now important thing is that we keep these guys from tiring, and then one of their targets is to take down that other equites unit. Because then we should have relatively free reign behind the enemy lines. Of course, excluding that general, but if the general begins to chase our cavalry, then... oh, perhaps we could catch some of these still. Okay, so if the enemy general begins to chase our cavalry, we can at least tire it, and that will make the rest of the enemy troops so much easier to break. And while they're running around here in circles, our own troops are remaining fresh, and we should be in rather good position when the battle is actually joined. Velites would make a nice catch for cavalry. Let's see if we could catch these Hastati units here unawares and then continue pushing towards the war dogs and the equites over there. Yeah, they are winded, and that means that our cavalry maneuvers are becoming a bit more limited as things are. Okay, good. They're breaking. Just push through over there. Let's break the war dogs. Break the war dogs. Were they released? Ah! Okay, then let's see if we could take down the equites, and then the cavalry has earned rest. Or perhaps this last attack command was rather a mistake because of those war dogs. So basically we need to get behind an infantry line. All those dogs will chew these cavalry in short order. I mean, come on, break. Okay, let's see if we could break this enemy unit while we are getting back to the safety, or hopefully safety, of our infantry. Okay, and then let's go. Yeah, so much for our cavalry. Time to sleep. Let's sleep the dogs of war. Well, that would be rather nice. Letting the... Okay, I guess cavalry is once again called on duty. Or then perhaps not. Yeah, they can have a bit of a rest while the bodyguard is having a bit of a fun. So, 1/3 of the enemies and 10% of our own troops. And I think 2 units of war dogs are depleted already. So, let's see if we could take care of these Hastatis over here. And let's hope the war dogs actually manage to catch this guy. And perhaps then some more. So, is the enemy actually going to just camp in here? Well, let's wait for a while. So at least one Hastati was moving out. Okay. So it seems we need to make the initiative here. And of course, well, that defense over there would have been rather nice, but one can't get everything. We have the missile superiority, and I think we want to use it especially against those war dogs. Okay, so the Velites are moving to engage, apparently. So if they come close enough, we could perhaps use our bodyguard to chase them off. Or then we will just hit them otherwise with the slingers. Okay, one a bit too eager Hastati moving in to engage, apparently. And I think these two Scutaries should be more than a match for them. And we have incoming. We have quite a brawl coming in here. Okay, let's just hope that our general will survive. Looking relatively good for now. And the enemy bodyguard, well, they are taking more damage than we are. That's good news. And apparently some war dogs managed to beat our warband. And as it is, I think any unit, excellent. We can break, will weaken the overall enemy morale so that we should be gaining the upper hand quite nicely. Okay, good. Rather difficult battle, but we did manage to win. Which matters the most here. And let's just make sure that the whole enemy army is wiped out. And this of course will mean that we will replenish some of our casualties, which will make it easier to resume the assault next turn. And that's pretty much it. A rather nice victory. Yeah, I think we can trade. So, some public order buildings, and I guess that's the last of them we are going to get. I think actually upgrading those barracks could improve the culture. But apparently we don't really need it. Those bull warriors over there are always so kind of frustrating. Dangling before our very noses, showing what we just cannot get.
General, march! No more moves.
Oscar is going soon. Cordoba, I think, yeah, we can begin training units here. Good. And in the northern front, I guess we will just train some cavalry for now.
General, move out! Out of moves. Yes. Forward! Move! Yes. Orders. Leaving the army.
And I think when we lay siege here, the Gaul army is practically forced
Move out!
to come to us.
March! Orders.
So perhaps we can wipe them both out and take a settlement in addition to that. And yeah, this army certainly needs some patching up. Then again, Capua is rather lightly defended. So let's grab what we can.
Yes.
And well, we actually cannot reach Capua this turn, most likely. Yeah. So let's head to Rome
Yes.
for some
Forward! Chief.
retraining.
Lord. Orders. Lord. Move!
And at least these guys should be combined. We have a bit easier time retraining them. Okay, and next turn we can move out once again. We have this Germanian army coming from the north, so let's send some troops to meet them. And I think we will actually... We are not going to need services of those round shield cavalries over here anymore. So let's replace them with long shields.
Yes, Chief.
And then we need to send out another army to face the Germanians. And at the same time, we could take
Yes.
probably the last remaining Gaul settlement. But let's move into position
Chief.
with the
Chief. General.
troops required.
Move out. Orders.
To take the fight to the enemy.
Forward. Unable to move. Lord.
And oh, this unit must be sent to Alisa for retraining, and most likely we don't want these guys camping in Alisa, but advancing
Forward.
towards something. For example, Trier, which is rather lightly defended, and we can even hire some mercenaries. Oh, quite a few mercenaries, that is. Good. And perhaps we have a diplomat over here somewhere.
Yes, master.
Ah, there is the settlement. I'm just considering if I should try to bargain a settlement from the British Isles, so that we could get a foothold there and then conquer them from there. The only problem is that probably only Londinium is going to be tier 3 settlement, so basically if we get a settlement over there we cannot train any troops there, and it's rather unlikely that we are going to get a family member so that we could utilize mercenaries over there. So yeah, it's looking a bit improbable that we can benefit actually from that. And this is tier 3 settlement. Oh, so yeah, and we are waiting 1 turn for High King's Hall. Oh, actually it's not tier 3 quite just yet, but soon. And are we training troops here? I think we should be. And in Arretium as well, even though the population is a bit of an issue, but yeah. Okay, so the goals did exactly as predicted. These 2 units might be problematic for our cavalry army, and we don't really know what kind of reinforcements they are bringing, and it's winter. So basically a bonus for their entire army, and most likely a penalty for entire army of ours.
Tonight we feast. Tonight we drink. On my orders. Mercenaries.
I think we should still try
The feeble enemy have more men.
to
These
smash
are more heads for our warriors
this
to collect
initial
in
army
triumph.
first.
General, with all haste. Run.
We should be able to take that barbarian cavalry down relatively easily. Okay, good. It's down.
The enemy warlord is dead, slain by your brave warriors.
Okay, and it seems our warband is fleeing from this swordsman. Okay, let's try to take down the skirmishers. Okay, well, that was surprisingly easy over there.
Enemy army runs. Now hunt
Okay.
them down.
And that's it. Now we just have to beat the second army, and I think we have ended the Gaul threat in Gaul, practically. And I don't especially want to face those foresters again. So, I think it's time for a bit of a rest for the cavalry while we wait for the reinforcing enemy army. Probably 3 warbands to come to face us. Warmed up. Fresh warmed up. Good. So, they do have warbands, warband, and warband. Of course, the problem is that we have cavalry, cavalry, and cavalry. So they are basically countering us from the beginning. But then again, if we manage to get in a flank, then things should look quite good for us. Oh, it's our units that are routing over there. Well, okay. Well, hope we could get some success on this front over here. Wavering, and that's the final nail in the coffin, so to speak, for that unit. And then we need to deal with the second one, while the general is still a bit away. Eager, but tired, shaken, wavering, broken. Good. And we have only the final unit left. And we have one bodyguard eager for battle, fighting against shadows over there. And let's put these guys into formation. And it seems the bodyguard is intent on chasing this flank over here. And you guys don't go just yet. Don't. And okay, good.
The enemy army runs. Now hunt them down.
So this probably will, yeah, and that's it. Excellent.
The enemy are crushed like beetles beneath your heel. This is a stunning victory.
Hooray. And I think the settlement falls to us, and of course we should be able to replenish the troops in Alasia.
Yes, Chief General. Yes. Move out.
Perhaps we could actually and should, yeah, send the general out as well. Massilia King's Hall, excellent. So let's begin to train troops, and perhaps we should aim for Scutari. Retium Great Market, well, perhaps we could get some additional money. Rome Sacred Grove of Isus. And I think we can increase the taxes. And it seems our armies are good to go once again.
General.
Well, we should perhaps combine those two units. Are those garrison force enough? Apparently not.
General. Forward.
That one Scutari will help a bit.
Orders.
And perhaps we can manage the rest with taxes.
Move out.
And by training some more Scutari. Okay, let's move onwards with this army. And Lucius Scipio, I think we will beat him with relative ease. And we could actually hire some Sammonite mercenaries.
Chief. Move out.
And in Patavium, we most certainly need to be training Scutari so that we can maintain the public order. So, the Germanians put back, which means that this army will head south. And we most definitely will take some long shield cavalry with us.
Yes. Chief. Move. Orders. Kill them.
And Trier should fall next turn, even though... Oh, they do have quite strong reinforcements close by. That's a bit of an issue. Perhaps we should actually bring one general to Italy, so they could actually help out over there. And of course we need to switch the defenses of Patavium basically to peasants, so that the upkeep would be a bit more manageable.
Awaiting your command. Yes, master. Yes, master.
Samaro Priva is over here. Okay, so I think we are going to combine these three armies into one and take Samaro Priva, while this one takes Trier. But the main battle is fought here in southern Italy. And let's hope they don't have the high ground advantage this time. Fortunately, the general is rather of poor quality, so that certainly should help us. And I think... Oh, we don't actually... We don't want that one barbarian mercenary unit. Well, we have it, so we just have to deal with it for now. We should have missile superiority and cavalry superiority. Okay, so let's go to challenge their flanks. Are they actually planning on attacking us? Those Equites actually did rather well. Let's hope we can actually break the... Okay, we are breaking the Hastati. Be it for the enemy general. Good.
Enemy warlord lies dead. Now he can drink with his ancestors and watch his warriors flee.
So this is going to be a rather embarrassing defeat for the Romans.
This is no longer a battle, this is a hunt. No, a coward chase.
Okay, that's rather nice. And we are in good position to push further into
Victory!
enemy territory, and these mercs will go over there, and let's hire the Samnite mercenaries. One reason is that
Orders.
it's
Destroy.
the enemy cannot get them,
Besieging settlement. Settlement under
and
siege.
perhaps in this case the main reason. So, I guess we cannot charge or assault Trier quite just yet, and this is an excellent attack from Gaius the Harsh, because now the garrison gets drawn out from the safety of the walls, and things should be that much easier for us.
On my orders.
And since they are attacking, we can even use high ground. This is becoming better and better all the time.
Units, move up.
Ha! The enemy have brought more
So,
weaklings to reinforce
let's
their
put
line.
the infantry line in place first. Oh. Apparently we missed some of them. So now the question is the... It seems the enemy reinforcements are actually planning on charging us straight away. So... What we need to do, most likely, is just to push through with cavalry and war dogs. And let's begin from that hostility.
The enemy warlord flees from our warriors. Attack and drive them back in the same way.
And let's see if we could catch
The enemy flee from the field like frightened goats.
the enemy
Hunt them
general.
down and
That would be
slay
rather
them
important.
all.
And well, most of the war dogs are actually wasted. But yeah. Well, we should be able to take the settlement rather easily next turn. Oh. They managed to surprise us on that flank. Well, so much for our slingers. Okay, these guys are coming back to the battlefield. Cavalry Auxilia. Well, it would be nice to deal with them this way. Because if they get that skirmish mode going on, things are going to get quite a bit more difficult.
Goats, hunt them down and slay them all.
And it would be really great if you guys could hunt down at least one of those Roman generals. Well, not too many survivors, but at least those generals surviving is rather annoying because, well, it means troubles later. Of course, we should be able to rather easily auto-resolve the Battle of Capua next turn. And that's faction Air. Okay, I think we will try to smash the reinforcements first. So basically from top right. And probably this is going to be the final battle of this episode. So from top right we need to move rather quickly.
The enemy have brought more weaklings to reinforce their line.
And these are what? Light chariots. Okay, so basically we will sacrifice that light cavalry to take them down.
Army runs. Now hunt them.
And let's hope we could catch the enemy general, because then we could get them. Excellent. The settlement.
Lies dead. Now he can drink with his ancestors and watch his warriors flee.
Okay, good. So basically we have achieved one of our main goals already. It's a warband, barbarian warlord, and perhaps it's not the best thing to show our backsides to them in this context. Okay, so much for those warbands. Okay, another warband. Good.
Enemy warlord lies dead. Now he can drink with his ancestors and watch his warriors flee.
Okay, still another warband. And I guess we will send these guys to finish those light chariots off. And these guys to make sure that those light chariots are not coming back.
This is no longer a battle, this is a hunt. No, a coward chase.
And I'm afraid that we didn't quite manage to take down enough of the enemies to fully rout the reinforcing army, but I think we get the settlement in any case.
Victory! Fear us!
Okay, and we have a new family member, and this Briton army is making some rather interesting moves. Oh, we don't have port in Ariminum. Interesting. I think we could just auto-resolve this one.
The land is ours!
And our financial situation did improve quite nicely. And this, of course, is tier 3 settlement. And it seems we need to lower taxes a bit.
Lord, destroy!
Okay, we can hire some Illyrian mercenaries here. Good.
Move out!
And I think that battle is going to be the first one in the next episode. At the same time,
Chief, orders,
let's send these guys towards Samara Priva.
out of moves.
These guys to reinforce.
No more moves. Orders, forward.
And the rest of the troops will converge at Alesia.
Orders, move out!
And in Capua we will rest one more turn over there and then head to against Brutii.
Yes,
But yeah, I think we did, well, we didn't quite meet our targets in this episode, so the Scipii had a bit stronger defenses in place than anticipated. On the other hand, we did do quite well in Northern Gaul, even though Samara Priva still waits for taking. And I think we could actually move out
Chief, Chief,
with these guys.
move out! Attack! Besieging
Besiege
settlement under siege.
Mokonti Akum. Yeah. And let's bring some barbarian mercenaries
Orders, Chief.
to aid us over there as well. So, I think this is everything for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you like the content, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Feel free to post comments, give advice, ask questions and so on. Have a great rest of the day. QualityOldGames out.